beat them 16-0. And then Saturday afternoon, very undermanned St. Lawrence Central squad. Definitely a rebuilding year for Mickey Locke at St. Lawrence. Massena beat them 18-0. I really don't think we're going to see an 18-0 game here this evening, but you have to figure Massena outguns this Placid team too.
Yes, I think they do, Jerry. And you mentioned the two lopsided scores early on, but they're coming against a Lake Placid club that you and I are both somewhat surprised at the score, getting beat by Thousand Islands in the first bet.
Anthem.
Okay.
So Massena will have to kill a penalty here. And let's see, who do we have out to kill it? Jake Morris is up front along with Adam Morris. We've got Labarge and Lebac back. And the puck comes to Jason Labarge at his own blue line for the Massena Red Raiders. He circles into his own end, looks up and dumps it down the ice. It's stopped there by Chad Martin, flips it ahead to Tony Strack, but it's taken away from him. Morris to Morris, a little bit too far for Jake from Adam, and it goes all the way back in the Lake Placid zone. Picked up there by Spencer Spots, the defenseman. We've got Stuart Spots in the net and defenseman Spencer Spots. Here comes Lake Placid. Massena leads it 1-0 on the Corky's collision scoreboard. Jake steals the puck, breaks in, the shot, the rebound, bounces in the slot, and finally it's picked up there by Matt Colby. He loses to Jake Morris in the corner. Morris trying to get by the defense. Spots comes in and pokes it away. It comes to Colby. We're down to 35 seconds left in the power play. Matt Colby moving it into the Massena zone. His shot from center ice. Dougie Cullen stops that, leaves it for Levac. Levac behind the Massena net, looks, finds the hole, dumps it down the ice, and it's stopped by goaltender Stuart Spots with about 20 seconds left in the penalty. Here comes, let's see, we'll pick it up in a minute. That's Brad Preston, stick handling into the Massena zone, and he is offside.
Just yet, and I think that's going to pose a big problem here in the early going. The Raiders have been dancing right around them. Jake Morris and Chris Cameron, Adam Morris walking right around them at will.
Okay, 12-13 remaining in the period. Massena leads at 1-0 on the Corky scoreboard. About 7 seconds in the penalty. Puck in behind the net. And Massena's going to clear it. Todd Manning with it, moves it out to center ice. To Chilton, and he just dumps it in the Lake Placid zone. In behind the net it goes. That's Chris Cameron. You got it? Right there? Okay. It's up at this end. Okay. Puck out to center ice. Here comes Placid again. Mike Strack with it. Kind of over skates. Aldis gets back on it. It flips in behind the net, and Todd Manning's going to pick it up. The penalty is up. Massena killed that one off without too much danger. It's dumped down the ice. That'll be an icing call against Massena. That headman pass was meant for Freddie Kellison, but Freddie couldn't catch up.
I think the Bombers, talking to Coach Cal Lewis prior to the game, they, using his terms, would like to shorten the game, and not by taking minutes off the clock illegally, but delaying it as much as possible. You'll see a lot of D-to-D passing and slow breakout, and you'll see them a lot of dump and chase, I think.
Off the face-off. Here comes Trevor Cameron with it. Cameron in his own end, runs into a little trouble, goes back on the defense. Jason Labarge, that is, moves it ahead. Dump back out to center ice. Here's Labarge again at his own blue line, flipping it ahead for Cameron. Looks for Kellison, and on the right wing, he's got Cameron, feeds him high slot, centers it right in front. That was meant for Eddie Davis, who's playing a wing on this line in place of Tayo, who's sick. Back to the point. Here's a drive. That's tipped into the corner. Labarge, he drives from a sharp angle, goes whistling around behind the net, all the way to Levac, who dumps it in the corner, whips around behind for Freddie Kellison. He takes a wave at it, misses it, goes into the corner. After it there is Chad Blinn. Blinn and Chilton jam. The puck slides along the boards, comes right in front. Here's a shot by Trevor Cameron, the save made by Stuart Spots on the nice feed by Jason Labarge. Here's Labarge trying to center it, goes right to the side of the net, and is picked up there by the defenseman Spencer Spots. Back to the point, kept in by Levac. Here's Levac sliding it right in, and the Kellison deflected it just wide. Whipped around the boards, comes back to Levac again. He dumps it in behind the net. Kellison, Freddie, steps by a check, looks to center right in front, comes high slot. Eddie Davis can't get the backhander off, and finally it's dumped to the point, kept in. Levac, his shot, whistles wide around the boards. Massena putting Spots in a shooting gallery here, and the puck in the corner. Jason Labarge throws a check, it flips free, and finally it's dumped out to center ice. Right there is Levac, flipping it ahead for Bobby Whitcup, who's over the boards into the zone. Here's Whitcup, stick handling in behind the net, circles in front, shot, score! Bobby Whitcup, what a nice individual effort. Massena goes up 2-0.
Again, we talked about that mobility on the Placid defense, Jerry. Bobby Whitcup just froze Spencer's spots. He walked right around him like Spencer was cemented in the ice, and he's a big, tall youngster, young Mr. Spots. He's probably the 6'4" defenseman, but Bobby walked right around him, probably just below the dot, and walked right in, and he had Stuart Spots at his mercy. The other defenseman did not pick up for his teammate, and Bobby Whitcup just slid it low to the glove side, and Raiders up 2-0.
Bobby Whitcup gets the goal unassisted at 4:08 on the Corky scoreboard. It's 2-0 for the Massena Red Raiders. Off the face-off, we've got that Morris line still out there for Massena. And out there is the Strack line for Lake Placid. Puck in the corner now. Adam Morris going after it in his own end. He circles back now and sheds the forechecker, flips it over, and they move it out to center ice. Pass comes to Jake Morris. He's going to dump it in the Massena zone. Adam Morris busting in after it. Picks it up. Center to Whitcup right in front. He missed, but Jake fires it wide too. And that was a beautiful pass by Morris. Back to the point. Now Todd Collins pinches in the corner. Drops it to Whitcup, who goes back to his point. Whitcup over to the other defenseman. Here's Manning winding up. His shot is knocked down there by Brad Preston. Can't get it out of the zone. Manning does a good job to keep it in. Flips it behind the nets. Ryan Benty after it. Morris forechecks, throws the check. And the puck finally slides out to center ice. We got a foot race. Racing for it is Tony Strack, but it's going to be icing as he can't quite catch up with it.
Jerry, you have to be here to see that last play. It's so beautiful. I have trouble describing it, but it's just like they knew each other's mind. The puck came out of the Raiders zone to Jake Morris in the neutral zone. He golfed it into the Placid zone. His brother Adam was breaking on the fly. He beat both Lake Placid defensemen to the puck. They were the most surprised guys in the world. Grabbed the puck and slid it out to Bobby Whitcup all alone in front. And he just missed the wide open net. What a play.
Okay, we've got Jason Chilton's line out there. We've got Cameron on one wing and Bergeron on the other. Chris Cameron back to the point. Jason Chilton can't keep it in, or Jason Labarge, rather. Here comes Lake Placid. It's Chad Blinn, gets by the D, and no, he didn't get by the D, as somehow Levac got a stick on it and knocked it off his puck and flips it down the ice, and icing will be called. It looked like Blinn was going to get in for the shot, but Levac somehow reached around him with a stick and poked it away.
Well, Jason got beat up on the blue line. He elected to stay. He gambled and lost, and the Lake Placid player tipped it by him and created the 2-on-1, but this is where you have your defensive partner, Brian Levac, made a great play, played it just perfectly, and intercepted the pass.
Tim Manning's line out for Lake Placid. Blinn on the left side, and Mike Beanie, there's a hockey name, on the right side. Back to the point, kept in at the point, bounces in the corner off a leg. Chris Cameron racing after it. He looks to drop it in the corner, but it comes to Blinn, now taken away by Jason Labarge. Labarge loses it, bounces in front. Here's a chance right in front, shot, save. Oh, nice save by Doug Cullen. Nobody picked up the Lake Placid forward, and Cullen was called upon to make a good save. Here comes Lake Placid again. That's Chad Blinn again. His shot goes off a leg. We have a whistle, and we're going to have another penalty, a holding call.
Let's see who can stare you down the longest. Chad Blinn, the puck came out of the corner, and he was standing just at the top of the dot, picked it up and walked right in, and he was waiting for the Massena goaltender, Dougie Cullen, to commit, to go down so he could flip it up, and Dougie waited and waited and waited, and finally Chad Blinn had to shoot it, and Dougie just repelled it with a right pad. Great job by Dougie Cullen that time. And that's what you want to do as a goaltender. Make that forward commit first. Stay up as long as you can.
Face-off will be in the Massena zone. Lake Placid on the power play. Puck in behind the net, trying to move it around right in front. Here's a chance, another big save by Cullen. And Massena's going to whip it down the ice. So Dougie's had to make a couple of good saves here in the first period, as Lake Placid had a couple of chances, good chances.
Mike Strack that time right out of the corner, big save.
In behind the net now, it's Tony Strack flipping it up on the wing to Mike Strack. Here comes Strack with it. We've got Cameron and Chilton out there killing it along with Aldis and Collins. Puck goes bouncing through the middle into the corner. Back to the point and nobody there. It goes all the way down the ice into the Lake Placid zone. Goaltender Stuart Spots stops it there. Corky's scoreboard says 2-0 Massena Lake Placid right now on the power play. Here come the Bombers. Tony Strack into the Massena zone. He works in on Collins, stops in the corner, now picked up by Collins again in the corner. He's going to take the puck away, feeds it, and Cameron picks up the loose puck, flips it ahead. Here comes Chilton 1-on-2. He's just going to waste time and flip it in the zone in behind the net. Back after it is Brad Preston for the Bombers. He starts out left side. Preston's head man pass. Strack gets it right back again. Here's Preston at the red line. He's going to dump in the Massena zone. It whips in behind the net. Cullen stops it there for Todd Collins. 25 seconds left in the power play. Massena trying to flip it, and they do get it out to center ice. That's Brian Levac. Dump back in the zone. Collins is there, and he golfs it down the ice. In fact, that's a shot on, and Spots has to glove it with about 10 seconds left in the power play. Headman pass comes to Chad Blinn. Here comes Blinn across the blue line, slides it right on. Cullen leaves it. And it's picked up there by Brian Levac from Massena. Levac circles, headman pass, and here comes Jake Morris. Morris 1-on-2, dipsy doodles across the blue line, gets by the D. Jake shoot right on, the save made, and Blinn, or I should say Spots, covers up for the faceoff.
Again, Jake Morris just dancing around the defense like they're cemented there. But get back at the other end. Brian Levac, nice job down there. Took charge. I like the way he picked that puck up, turned the corner, and headman hit Jake right on the fly. Good job by Brian Levac. Dougie Cullen having to come up with 2 big saves on that power play. And that line of Mike Strack, Tony Strack, and Matt Colby, they're a veteran line, and they look pretty impressive on that power play, Jerry.
Tim Manning's line out there now. And we've got the Trevor Cameron line out from Massena. Cameron centering Eddie Davis along with Freddie Kellison. Headman pass intercepted. Here comes Levac leading the attack. Winds up, fakes the shot, gets by the D backhander right on, and the save made by Stuart Spots.
Brian Levac picking the puck in the neutral zone and across the blue line. The Lake Placid defense giving ground, faked the shot and froze both defensemen. They became goaltenders, and Brian just walked around those guys. And poor Stuart Spots saying, "Come on, fellas, hey." A little more support for out there. You had to come up with a big save or it'd be 3-0.
Face-off left side. Trevor Cameron will draw against Manning for Lake Placid. Off the face-off, back to the blue line. Labarge keeps it in for a moment, but now bounces out center ice. We've got a 2-on-1. Here comes Blinn, along with Manning. Blinn takes it in the zone. That's Beanie, rather. But he's taken out of the play in the corner, and the puck comes free. And there's Brian Levac again, doing yeoman work, brings it out of the zone. Long headman pass. It's Kellison on the left wing side. Freddie takes in the corner, centering pass. And it goes off Cameron's stick. That's Trevor Cameron. Comes right back to him. He doesn't see it. It's picked up by Spencer Spots, the defenseman, who flips it out to center ice. And we have another whistle.
Another good shift by that Trevor Cameron, Freddie Kellison, and Eddie Davis line. The first shift out there, they had an excellent shift. Several good scoring opportunities. Again, one of the things you have to be careful of when you've had 2 easy games is staying up in that line. And again, the Raider defense got caught at the line and created a 2-on-1. And you can't do that against real strong clubs.
Strack's line against the Chilton line. Off the face-off, puck in the circle, picked up there by Brad Preston. Flips it around the boards for Matt Colby. Colby taken out of the play. And Chris Cameron picks, nice move. Cameron takes it to the side of the net, centering pass. And Bergeron couldn't find the handle, and back comes Lake Placid. Here comes Tony Strack across the blue line, winds up. He fired it way wide. It comes back along to Bergeron. He tries to flip it out, and it's out to center ice. Chris Cameron looking for the puck. He finds it, takes it across right wing side, has it poke checked at the blue line. Mike Strack, he loses it. Here comes Tony Strack picking up the puck. He just flips it down the ice. That, I believe, will be an icing call. No, apparently not. Didn't go far enough, and Strack picks it up in behind, looks to center. Puck comes back to the point, and Preston can't keep it in. Here comes Massena back the other way. Bergeron and Cameron, 2-on-1. Bergeron shoots, the save, the rebound, flips it in the net. And Massena scores its 3rd goal as Bergeron got his own rebound.
Little things go a long way, department. Back to the other end, a great play by Todd Collins. It's 4-0, but it could have, I should say it's 3-0. It could be 2-1. Todd Collins at the other end, knocking down the Lake Placid player as a centering pass came out of the corner right to the Placid player in front. Todd Collins decked him with a beautiful check, and the puck went harmlessly to the other side. And up come the Raiders, and bingo. Instead of having a goal scored at their end, Sebastian Bergeron popping one in, picking up his own rebound.
9:55, the time of the goal. Bergeron unassisted.
Todd Collins should get an assist on that for the sake of the play that he made.
So Todd Collins gets a Dave McClendon assist.
That's right.
Okay. 5 minutes even left to play in the first period, and on the Corky's Collision scoreboard, Massena leads at 3-0.
It's a great vantage spot we have for a game here, Jerry. I love this.
You betcha. You betcha. Off the face-off, puck just inside the zone. Jason Labarge picks it up, circles in behind his own net, looks for his winger, kind of gets tied up, now flips it ahead. Comes Whitcup having a little problem with it, back to the point, but it's cleared out to center ice. Whitcup picks it up, has it poke checked back into the Lake Placid zone. Spots is going to cover it up, and hold on for the face-off.
They say in sports, you know, there's no substitute for speed, and this Raider club, regardless of what line you put out there, they're just jumping on right on top of this Placid defense at every possible moment. They just almost created a 2-on-1 right there. They tipped it by the Lake Placid defense. Just speed.
Face-off left side. It's Manning against Morris. That's Manning for Lake Placid. Both teams have a Manning. Behind the net, it's Chad Martin, the defenseman for Placid, has it poked away. Here comes Adam Morris, gets knocked down, gets back up. He and Martin really going at it in the corner. It comes back to the point, flips over to the other D. Here's Jason Labarge, deflected. Oh, just wide. Back to Levac at the point. He steps by the forechecker, flips it in behind the net, bounces up in front, goes back to the point. Jason Labarge keeps it in, winds up, flips it, deflected wide by Whitcup. Puck goes over to Adam Morris, who throws a check. They jam, but Placid picks it up. They got a guy breaking, but Jason Labarge gets back in time and circles and picks up the puck. It's one thing about this huge ice surface. You got to watch that because you can get beat that way. Long headman pass. Whitcup just directs it in the zone. Comes in behind the net. After it there is Ryan Benty. Flips it around the boards for Mike Strack. It comes out to center ice, and Brian Levac is there to pick it up. Levac with the puck now in his own end, looking ahead. Headmans it. Intercepted there by Brad Preston. Preston flips to center ice. Freddie Kellison, who's out there, moves it ahead to Eddie Davis. Davis trying to step by Preston. Here's Davis. He's ridden into the boards by Preston. The loose puck comes to Colby. Colby's headman pass bounces off Mike Strack's body into the Massena zone. Todd Collins. Collins circles into the corner, looking ahead now. Moving it along the boards to Kellison, right back out to center ice. Headman goes to Trevor Cameron. Cameron busting by on the right side. Centering pass goes to the side of the net. Cameron ridden out of the play behind, but Kellison is there to poke it away. Now it's taken by Preston. He rides it around the boards to the blue line. Manning pinches in, trying to keep it in. It's underneath those two. It finally pokes free, and it's picked up by Mike Strack. Strack just drops it. Has it poke checked away. Bad play there. It comes to Kellison in the corner for Massena. Centering pass goes all the way back to the point. Manning trying to keep it in the zone. He can't. And Todd Collins picks it up at his own blue line. 3:06 left, first period. On the Corky scoreboard, Massena leads 3-0. Here comes Freddie Kellison. His pass intercepted. Tony Strack. Strack breaks wide, his shot, and it goes in behind the net. Now the puck in the corner, picked up by Trevor Cameron. Long headman pass for Freddie Kellison. Kellison going one-on-one with Spencer Spots. His shot is wide. Puck whistles into the corner. Eddie Davis after it. He kind of overskates it. Preston picks it up. He overskates it, and it comes to Trevor Cameron. Oh, nice move by Cameron, but he's knocked off the puck. Here comes Brad Preston. 1-on-2. He overskates it at the blue line. Levac is there to flip it ahead. It goes to the red line, back to the Massena blue line. Jason Labarge. Labarge to Levac. Levac looks up. Headman pass. Freddie Kellison by way of Chris Cameron. Following up is Jason Chilton. Chilton kicks it in the zone. Nobody goes to pick it up. Chris Cameron says, I'll go after it. But getting there first was Ryan Benty. He flips it ahead. It goes up into the bench. And we'll have a face-off with 2:09 left, first period. On the Corky scoreboard, Massena 3, Lake Placid no score.
One of the seniors on this club and co-captain, Tony Strack, having a very impressive first period. And we can see what a big loss this was for Coach Mickey Locke and the St. Lawrence Central Larrys. Tony's really skating out here in this first period. He's had a couple of good scoring opportunities.
Chilton's line out there against the Manning line. Face off Lake Placid zone. Off the draw. Cameron shot right on the rebound, back to the point. Comes to Labarge. Labarge in the corner. Bergeron. He tries to center it. It's knocked down. And it's flipped out to center ice. Just barely. Picked up there by Bergeron. Feeding for Chilton. Chilton has it taken away from him. Comes to the Massena blue line. And we're going to have an offsides there. A little pushing and shoving, too. But I don't think anything's going to come of that. As Chad Blinn and Jason Labarge had a couple of words.
I'll tell you. A pair of 16s ran into each other, and actually the Massena 16, young Mr. Chilton, just labeled the Lake Placid 16, Timmy Manning, put him right on his backside, and Tim Manning is still he's still out on the ice and trying to regain his composure, but he's still hobbling a little bit. Right at center ice, had the head down, and Jason Chilton put the lumber to him.
Apparently Massena picked up a penalty.
Well, maybe they called Jason. I didn't see anything illegal on that. Let's see. The Raiders are shorthanded.
And the player is Chilton.
Oh.
I don't know what it was for.
It was a long delay. After the fact, Lenny Landrew must have decided that he saw the Lake Placid player on the ice and will give him a penalty. To me, that was a clean check.
Here comes Cameron breaking down 1-on-2, holding the call on Chilton. Oh, Cameron gets by one defenseman, and it goes into the corner. As Chris Cameron, just doing yeoman's work here as a penalty killer, finally gets knocked down. He's going to draw a penalty, hit from behind on Lake Placid.
Well, they called Jason Chilton for holding. It certainly wasn't on the hit on Manning. It had to be someplace else after that, because the check that he put on Tim Manning was clean, and it was an awesome check. And Tony Strack's coming to the box, and he's putting his hands out. Why me? But he's going to call him from hitting from behind, I'm sure.
13:26, the time of that penalty. A hit from behind, and that'll make it 4-on-4, plus the goaltenders. Ryan Venti with it, has it poke checked away, goes in behind the net. Now Preston, Cameron throws a check on him. Oh boy, there is a check by Whitcup. Ouch. And Whitcup flips it out to center ice. Dump right back to the line. Cameron gets a stick on it, flips it in the zone. Ryan Venti, bounce pass out to center ice. It goes to Labarge over to Levac. Ryan with a puck now. Back to Jason Labarge. And Labarge skates it. Here comes Labarge. We're going 4-on-4 here. 1 minute left in the first period. Labarge circles in behind the net. Here's Labarge. High slot, feeds it. Whitcup, I don't know what he's waiting for. Had a shot. Here's Levac. His shot to save. Oh, the whistle blew, but the puck was free. And we'll have a face-off.
I agree with you, Jerry. Bobby Whitcup elected to pass, but he got a beautiful diagonal pass from Jason Labarge, who had gained the zone, went in behind the Lake Placid net, came out on the other side, and spotted Bobby Whitcup diagonally across the ice and put one right on his stick, and Bobby should have pulled the trigger. He elected to pass. That's one time, I think, one pass too many.
Now Jake Morris coming out on the ice along with Adam Morris, so the two Morris boys will be up front.
Big ice surface, one man off on each side, definite advantage to the Morris combination.
Puck goes out to center ice off the draw. Picked up by Labarge. Labarge circling at the red line, looking for a little skating room here to get it in the zone. Here comes Labarge now, steps by a check, steps by another check, takes it across, flips it in the corner, and goes after it himself. He's got Preston right on him. He stays with it, though. Flips it in the corner. Labarge finally has it taken away by Preston, and Preston starts out as Lake Placid moves it out to center ice. Massena gets Chilton back. They'll have a very brief power play here, and here come the Raiders. Here comes Levac across the blue line, 1-on-3. He gets by one in the corner. Now Massena, the rest of them catch up. The puck goes into the corner. Adam Morris after it there. He gets by a check. Kellison is in the fray. Flips it to Morris in front. Centering pass as the buzzer sounds. The puck cleared back to the blue line. So the first period is history, and on the Corky's Collision scoreboard, the Massena Red Raiders lead it on a score of 3-0, Dave.
3-0 on the scoreboard, and a wide edge in territorial play for the Raiders. Although Dougie Cullen had to come up, I don't know how many saves, but he had a couple tough ones down there. But a big
pass intercepted by Levac again. And I'll tell you what, Brian's made a couple of excellent plays here this evening. Now Labarge flips it around the boards. Comes to Bergeron, his headman. Pass outside to Brown, and Brown loses it to Preston, who dumps it off the boards back in the Massena zone. We got an offsides called, and Matt Colby never did clear the zone, so they whistle that one dead. And with 12:29 left in the second period, Massena leads 4-0 on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard.
Heard us mention it many times in the past, and you'll hear it many times in the future. Again, when you got somebody up ahead of you, head man the puck. There's nothing nicer in hockey. You get your forwards breaking. That time, the Raider defenseman did not do it, and it was stripped from him and created that 2-on-1 again. Especially when you're last man back.
Trevor Brown, Mike Hewlett, and Eddie Davis, Massena's fourth line against Placid first line of Tony Strack, Mike Strack, and Matt Colby. Here's Collins, has to wait for his wings. He flips it. I think we got an offsides on Massena as Hewlett came into the zone before Massena had cleared. And so the offside's called, and they'll move the faceoff outside Lake Placid territory.
It's a good test to see how this unit of Mike Hewlett, Trevor Brown, and Eddie Davis, they're up against the, as you mentioned, the Lake Placid's big line, and I think they'll more than hold their own.
Strack will face off against Trevor Brown off the draw. Puck bounces in the Placid zone. It comes to Ryan Venti. Can't move it out. Picked up by Eddie Davis, trying to get free in the slot. Strack takes it away, flips it back to the blue line, kept in there by Todd Manning. He rides it around the boards for Mike Hewlett, gets by him, and it's picked up by Preston, flipping it along the boards for Matt Colby. Colby moves it out to center ice. Here comes Strack. Back on Manning. And Manning gets a piece of it. Here's the shot. It's into the corner. Strack had him beat, but Manning somehow blocked it, and the puck bounces back into the corner. Todd Manning picking up the loose puck for the Red Raiders. He starts it out left side. Headman pass goes off a stick across the red line, back to the Massena blue line. Bouncing around. Nobody seems to want it now. Finally, Eddie Davis dumps it back inside Lake Placid territory. Puck whistles around the boards. And bouncing free, it's back all the way down the ice. That'll be an icing call in Lake Placid as they just dumped it from their own end. That was Matt Colby, and both teams will change up. Of course, Lake Placid has been going with 2 lines here pretty much the whole game. Massena now going with 4.
Yeah, it's going to wear him right down. This is, of course, Kalos was really concerned about this. He's afraid of his third unit and trying to go with the 2 units and spot the third. That's a tough job to do. We talked about those last 2 units, the 4th unit versus their first. It was a standoff, Jerry.
Off the face-off, puck bouncing in the circle. Adam Morris drops it back to the point. Here's Aldis with it, flipping it in the corners. That's Chris Aldis in behind the net. Here's Bobby Whitka. Goes back to Chris Aldis. This time it's away from him. He can't quite stop it. Massena will have to regroup. Labarge flips it back to Aldis. Aldis bounces ahead for Whitcup, and Whitcup circles. Here comes Bobby, feeding Adam Morris, has it poke checked away nicely by Spencer Spots. He loses it to Labarge, who dumps it in the Lake Placid zone. Comes in behind the net after Chad Martin. Oh, Morris takes him out of the play. The puck bounces free to the blue line. A hard check thrown, kept in by Aldis. Nice job there. He flips it around behind the net for Jake Morris in the corner, right side of the goalie. Morris dumps it for Adam Morris. Adam looking to center. It goes off a stick back to the point. Aldis winds up his shot off a leg in the corner. Bobby Whitcup with it. He jams for it, trying to poke it through. It comes to Adam Morris. He fights for it, side of the net. Morris with it, behind, circles, gets by his defender, takes it into the corner, left side of the goal. He looks to center it, but it's bounced back to the point. Aldis picks it up, flip shot, goes wide. Whitcup looking for the puck. Here's Bobby Whitcup with it, circling, centering pass right in front. Morris's backhander gets it right back again, but it bounces away, and it's out to center ice. Mike Beanie with it. Beanie just ridden off the puck there by Jason Labarge, and Aldis picks up the loose puck and steps by his defender. Backhands it in the zone. Whips in behind the net now. Bobby Whitcup racing for it along with Chad Martin. Whitcup ridden off the play. The puck comes out to center ice. Brian Levac. Levac over on the other side. Todd Collins. He dumps it from the red line. Back in the Lake Placid zone. It whips around the boards. Adam Morris after it. Looks for Whitcup. Here comes Whitcup in the corner. Morris goes from there. Flips from front. And let's see. That was Chilton who couldn't catch the pass. But it was kind of a hard pass anyway. As Chilton is on the ice now, as Massena in the middle of a line change here. The puck back to the blue line. We have a whistle, and I think we're going to have matching minors probably right in front of the net.
Yeah, Lenny Landrio is probably going to call roughing on each of them. Looks like Adam Morris is one, and number 22 for the Bombers, that's Chad Martin. Is going to pick up the other. So it'll be matching minors. Good shift out there that time by Chris Aldis, that 6'1", 168-pound junior. Didn't look out of place, looked very comfortable out there. Excellent shift.
I'm not sure what the call will be, but...
Probably roughing on each of them, or he could call a multitude of things. We'll see. Maybe high sticking and roughing on... But happened in front of the net, a little pushing in front.
So we're skating 4-on-4, plus the goaltenders. Off the face-off, back to the blue line. Kept in there nicely by Levac, goes to Chilton. Jason steers it in the corner. He's knocked off the puck. It comes to Tony Strack. Strack flips it around the boards. Now stepping in front of it, Levac again. He skates it in, gets a weak shot off. It bounces to the blue line, out to center ice. Levac is there. Roughing the call. Now here comes Levac again. He winds up his shot. Ouch. Off Strack's leg. That had to hurt just a little bit. And the puck goes back out to center ice. Dumped right back in by Collins. He flips it in around the boards. Bergeron is there trying to center it, but it's knocked back down the ice. And that'll be an icing call, I believe. Yeah, we're both skating a man down, so icing will be the call. And the faceoff will move back inside Lake Placid territory. Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard says 4-0 Massena.
Brian Levac, 1 year older, 1 year bigger, a little stronger. He always possessed a good shot anyway, but it's really, he's polished that thing up this year. It's a heavy, heavy shot. And you mentioned Tony Strack being hit with that. He was, and I don't care if it hits you on the pads or not. With someone of those possesses that heavy shot, it hurts, regardless if you're padded or not, Jerry.
Bergeron will face off against Manning. Off the draw, bouncing puck back to Manning at the point. That's Manning from Massena. Here's Cameron's shot, saved the rebound. Oh, Bergeron in there digging for it. Couldn't come up with a bouncing puck. Steps by the check. Goes back to the point. Labarge, he winds it up. Good save by Stuart Spots. And the faceoff will come inside Lake Placid territory. Massena moved the puck around very well there.
Excellent. And again, Chris Cameron cruising in front. When that shot came from the point, he skated right in front of Stuart Spots and tried to tip it out of the air, just what you want him to do. And Chris Cameron has the ability, when he's going left, to get that shot off in a hurry, and he seems to be able to bring it across the body to the opposite corner. Very dangerous shot.
Now Trevor Brown out there with Mike Hewlett. Puck poke checked away by Preston. He stops at his own blue line. His long headman meant for Chad Blinn. Back into the Massena zone, and Todd Manning picks it up for the Raiders. Here comes Manning now, lugging the puck, building up the head of steam. Manning takes it across. He stays with it, keeps it in his skates, in behind the net, looking to center it, and it's taken off his stick by Tim Manning, and Manning comes back the other way. He's got Brown bothering him. He kicks it in the zone anyway, and the puck goes into the corner. And we got a penalty. That's going to be a penalty on Massena, I believe, as soon as they touch the puck, which they do. And holding, perhaps?
Probably Mike Hewlett's going to get the gate. Yes, I think it's going to be a holding call. It was a 1-on-2 situation. One Blue Bomber and two Raider players. And I think Mike Hewlett put the clutch on him. At least that's what the official is going to call. And yes, it is. Mike Hewlett's going to go to the box for a minute and a half.
7:08 the time of that penalty. Hewlett for holding. And that'll give Lake Placid the man advantage here.
Just prior to that, Todd Manning made a north to south full-length rush, and he had a full head of steam. And the Blue Bomber defenseman, Ryan Benty, just kind of waved at him. He went by him like he said, I don't want to get in front of that train.
Okay, we've got Trevor Cameron out there to kill it off. Of course, the Strack line comes out for Lake Placid. Jake Morris, the other penalty killer. And Levac flips it off a body, but down the ice it goes. I don't think that's what he meant to do, but it works. And back to pick it up there is Chad Martin, the defenseman. Martin trying to clear the zone. He doesn't. Coming back after it is Matt Colby. Colby finally flips it to the Massena line. Takes a bounce past Todd Collins. He catches up with it. Finds the hole and dumps it back out to center ice. There's Brad Preston. Preston flips it ahead for Matt Colby. Colby's pass is dumped back into his own zone, and Trevor Cameron digging in there after it. He's 1-on-3, but he's got Morris kind of sneaking in. Cameron stays with it. Trevor, short side shot, and the goaltender grabs it. Stewart Spots as Trevor Cameron, some great forechecking.
You almost have a feeling with those two snipers out there, Trevor Cameron, who's just coming off a four-goal game, not bad work, not a bad afternoon's work, and Jake Morris out there. Just have that feeling that they're going to pop a short-handed one.
50 seconds left in the penalty. 7:12 in the second period, just over the halfway point. Right off the face-off, Spots decides to cover it up. We'll do it again. On the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard, Massena leads at 4-zip.
4-zip with 7:10 left in the second period.
Face off again. Strack against Morris off the draw. Picked up by Preston. Defenseman for Lake Placid skates it behind his own net. Preston starts it out. Long headman pass. Goes to Mike Strack. His headman meant for Colby behind him. Strack follows up. Flips it back. And into the zone, but offsides. As ahead of the play, Matt Colby, but one of the Massena defenders just impeded the other forward enough to make it an offside.
This second period, early going, seems to be a slow one for the Raiders. They've only, in the two previous games, they've only been able to score 7 goals in the second period. But the first and third, they're running 14 and 13. So this is a down period for them.
Okay, Strack will stay out there. Off the face-off, Levac. Levac just, whoa, it's knocked down out of the air. Massena will have to touch it first, and they do. Get it back to the blue line, but it's kept in there. Here comes Strack. He's got the shot. Nice save by Dougie Cullen. Cullen makes another good save. Now the puck in the corner. Whips in behind. Racing for it there is Tim Manning, who's out there on the power play. 10 seconds left in that. Comes right across the goal mouth, and Strack waved at it. Back to the point. 2 Placid players went after it, and they both knock it out to center ice. And 1 second left in the power play. Massena gets a man back here. See if they can get him into the play before anything happens. Back to the point. Here comes Manning. This is Manning for Lake Placid. In behind, looks for Strack at the 45. His shot, score!
Oh boy, that was a bullet. Tony Strack from the just above the top of the dot to the left of Dougie Cullen intercepted a Raider clearing pass, and he scorched one. wound up and just caught the far side, and that ricocheted off the post, in and back out again. But Dougie Cullen had no chance on that. Just a giveaway, court clearing pass by the Raiders. They were just finished killing off a penalty, had an opportunity to clear the zone, but Tony Strack intercepted the pass at about the top of the circle, stepped down to the dot, and just screamed one, and a little bit of traffic in front. Dougie Cullen, no chance.
So it's 4-1 in favor of Massena. Massena gives up its first goal of the season. That was a great shot, too. It was right in the corner.
Excellent shot.
So Strack gets the goal. Manning getting one assist, and the other assist going to Strack. Here comes Massena. Chris Cameron right in front. Shot! Fired it just wide. Puck comes along the boards, back to the blue line, but not out as Chris Cameron tries to keep it in. Bouncing puck. Back to the point, kept in. Labarge, he flips it to an open wing. In the corner, Cameron trying to come up with it, but it's out to center ice. And it goes bouncing into the Massena zone. Here come the Raiders now trying to move it out. Look, Jason Labarge with it. Labarge takes it down. His shot from the blue line, and the save made by Stuart Spots. Bergeron in the corner now, trying to center it, goes all the way back to Whitcup, who's just on the ice. Bobby stops with it, trying to flip it through to Morris. He does. Jake in the corner now, steps by a check. He's taken out of the play. Bergeron sprawls after it, comes to Manning at the point. He flips it into the slot, but Strack is there to bounce it down the ice. And that's going to come right in on Cullen, who flips it long. Headman pass for Whitcup. Whitcup in the zone racing for it, but he's beaten to the puck by Spencer Spots. Trying to center it out of the zone. That's Adam Morris stealing. It goes to Whitcup, to Morris in front. Trying to center it to brother Jake. Comes back to the point, and Levac flips it in the corner. Nice return pass from Morris. Here comes Lake Placid out to center ice. Here's Matt Colby. Colby taken out of the play. Bouncing puck comes through in front. Strack, and he kind of misfired on it, and Cullen holds on. Now some pushing and shoving going in behind the net. I think we're going to have matching minors again.
Yeah, I think Mike Strack and I think it's Adam Morris a little set to there with the sticks. One took exception to something that happened. Anyway, those two behind the net had a little set to, and the official Bobby Lozon is going to, I'm sure, run them both. That goal has perked the Bombers up a little bit, Jerry. Again, a little flurry of activity down here in front of the Raider net. Dougie Cullen having to come up big. When the stats on that goal, that was at time at the 8:51 mark. Tony Strack from Timmy Manning and Mike Strack on the assist.
4-1 our score on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. Massena leads it. And we've got 4-on-4. Jake Morris out there now with Bobby Whitcup. Levac is out there along with Collins. Puck right in front. And they jam for it. And finally it comes to Brian Levac. He starts it out. Levac's got Jake with him. Steps across the blue line, takes it in the zone, centers it right in front. The save made. The puck comes back to Whitcup. Here comes Bobby with it, trying to center it back to Levac. Levac goes to Collins. Collins shot, knocked down, goes to Levac. Levac winds up. He didn't get all the wood on it there, and it's dumped back out to center ice. In fact, that's going to be an icing call against Lake Placid as both teams are down a man.
Excellent job that time by number 20, Ryan Benty, the big Lake Placid defenseman, who was able to tie Jake Morris up. He and Brian Levac crisscrossed at the blue line and hoping that they would get the Placid defense confused, but they had their signals right, and the weak side defenseman picked up Brian, who kept looking. Jake went to the net, but Ryan Benty stayed right with him. Good job by Lake Placid defenseman.
Trevor Cameron out there now, along with Mike Hewlett, Brian Levac, and Todd Collins. Facing it off will be Tim Manning for Lake Placid. Face off right side in the Placid zone. Off the draw. The puck in the corner picked up by Preston. Brad Preston, he's got Cameron on him, but he stays away. And he flips it out to center ice. Brian Levac, right back. Here comes Hewlett. He kind of overskated, and that'll be an offsides right there, as he went in before the puck did, and will draw again outside the Lake Placid zone.
We're seeing different combinations out here. Again, the Raider coaching staff have to juggle lineups because of the sickness and injuries that caused 4 of the Raiders not to be in lineup tonight.
Off the face-off. Puck sits at the blue line, finally comes bouncing back to the Massena line. Todd Collins is there. Bounces it along the boards, taken away by Manning. Manning in turn loses it to Trevor Cameron. We're going to have a penalty.
Yeah, he's going to call Trevor Cameron for hooking. That's a good call. Trevor is questioning it, but he had the stick in under the armpit, and he was putting the hook on to Matt Colby, and it happened right down in front of us, and the official, Lenny Landrio, right on the spot. So the Bombers going to go up with a man advantage. There's 33 seconds left in the matching minors, and after that, for about a little less than a minute, 57 seconds, the Bombers will be on a power play. Well, they'll be on a power play right now, in fact.
Yeah, 4-on-3 power play here. 3:28 left, second period. 4-1 Massena leads on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard, but that goal that Tony Strack got has fired up this Lake Placid team.
Yes, it has.
Off the face-off, the puck comes back to Brad Preston. He flips it ahead from Manning. Manning to Strack. Here's Strack across the blue line. Strack trying to flip it in front. It's knocked down. Here comes Jason Labarge leading the attack. One-on-one with the defenseman Ryan Benty. He just flips it through, and Benty takes him out of the play. It's picked up by Brad Preston. Preston, long headman pass, goes off Tony Strack's leg. Brian Levac picks it up. He winds. His shot goes wide, bounces into the corner. After it, there is Preston. Preston's headman goes by everybody, back to the Massena line. Picked up by Brian Levac again. He takes it across, trying to flip it through to Morris. That's intercepted by Mike Strack. Dumping it down the ice. That'll be an icing call against Lake Placid. And I'm not exactly sure who he was trying to spring that time.
I'm not sure either. I think he was just trying to get rid of it. The matching minor penalty of Adam Morris and who was the other? There it is. I forgot the Lake Placid player.
Mike Strack.
Mike Strack. They're back on the ice. So the only one in the box right now, Trevor Cameron. Cameron with 42 seconds left in his penalty. 2:40 left in the second period, and Massena up 4-1.
We've got Chilton out there along with Chris Cameron, Manning, and Collins. Right back to Manning off the faceoff. Flips it through, and Chilton waved at it, but it was bouncing. He didn't get a piece of it. Chilton now in the corner, gets ridden off the puck. Strack flips it around the boards, and it goes free to Mike Strack, and he takes it. Here comes Mike Strack. Ooh, Chilton throws a check, steals the puck. Just knocked him off enough to take the puck away. Here's Chilton back out to center ice. Manning wastes time, goes over to Collins. Collins back into his own end. Oh, he flips it high in the air for Chris Cameron. Cameron gulped at it on the way by it and missed everything. He caught a little bit of grief from the crowd. It comes back to Manning in the Massena zone. Right back out to center ice. Cameron loses it. It comes back to Mike Strack in the zone. Puck knocked down in front, and coming away with it is Jason Chilton. Massena gets their man back. Here comes Trevor Cameron. Cameron gets by the D, stays with it. Center, Chris Cameron. His shot deflected up into the wall, and the whistle blows.
Oh, what a great play by Trevor Cameron, breaking in on that right side. Took the pass in the neutral zone in full flight, and a full head of steam went down on the right side. And the Placid defenseman, Ryan Bentley, doing a good job staying right with him. But Trevor, fending him off with the left arm, was able to one-hand the pass in the slot to his brother Chris, who got off a quick shot, but it hit a stick in front and up over the plexiglass. Beautiful play by Trevor Cameron.
Still 4-1 for Massena on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. 1:45 left in the period. Trevor Brown's line out there for the Raiders. Off the face-off, Ryan Benty. He dumps it down the ice, and icing will be called again in Lake Placid.
Again, they're trying to spring that the offside wing, I think, Jerry, and throwing the pass in between the two Raider defensemen, hoping that the offside wing can beat the offside defenseman to the puck. But a little too long, a little too hard with that pass.
Brown again will face it off against Tim Manning. Face off left side, Lake Placid zone. Off the draw, Eddie Davis. He whips it around behind the net. Mike Hewlett is there trying to pick it up. He and Preston go together. The puck comes free, and it's, where is it? Preston circles back. He's still got Hewlett forechecking over on the other side. They move it around, stepping in front. Here comes Todd Collins looking to center, goes off a leg to the side of the net, and in fact gets tied up in the mesh and will face it off again.
Beautiful job by Trevor Brown filling when Todd Collins stepped down on the strong side. He pinched down to pick up the puck. Trevor Brown from his center spot filtered right back and filled in on the point. Excellent job.
Lake Placid making a late change here. That's the reason for that whistle. So we'll face it off.
The Raiders are still staying with the Trevor Brown, Mike Hewlett, and Eddie Davis out there. Todd Manning and Todd Collins on the point.
Off the face-off, it comes to Davis. Back to the point. Oops. Goes by everybody. Got a little bit too much mustard on that one. And it comes back in the Massena zone. Here's Todd Manning with it. In behind the net now. Starts out. Bounce pass out to center ice. Racing for it. Here comes Trevor Brown. Big head of steam. Circles. Looks to drop it back to the point. Nobody there but Lake Placid. They're going to break down. It's Tony Strack. Passes to himself off the boards. Breaks in on Todd Manning. Winds up the shot. He fired it way wide. Puck whistles around the boards. In behind now. Oh, a little bit of body action in front of the net there. Here's Todd Collins ahead to Davis. Davis follows his own pass to center ice. Now looks for Manning breaking down. Todd's going to try to get by the defense of Preston. Manning takes it, centers it, deflected right on, and the save made by Spots. Mike Hewlett was coming right across and took the pass and deflected the pass from Manning, but he didn't get much on it. Otherwise, it would have been a goal.
And the Raiders caught a break at the other end, Jerry. Actually, you mentioned a little bit of action in front. Eddie Davis really put the lumber to the Lake Placid player. He could have been called for interference, could have been called for cross-checking, but the officials didn't see it. Good transition that time by Lake Placid from defense to offense. They came out of their zone really well.
Strack will take the face-off, right side. Off the draw. Puck sits in the circle. Adam Morris, Jake's line out there. Back to the point. Puck sits, and finally it's dumped out to center ice. Massena trying to get back. And it's Labarge just throwing a check. The puck's still in the corner as they jam for it. We got a penalty. And we got whistles and pushing and shoving, and I don't know who the penalty will be on, but getting up off the bottom of the pile is a Lake Placid player, so my guess would be it'd be on Massena.
I think it's going to be Chris Cameron, or no, Jason Labarge. Yeah, I can pick up the 22, and it's out of our line of sight down here. We're up above, and we just can't see in that far corner, and he's going to call Jason Labarge for elbowing, I'm sure. And that, I think it's about the 5th penalty of the period for the Raiders, and it's really the penalties have been the line shuffling has got them out of sync here in this period. They're not operating as smoothly as they have in the first 2 and 1/3 games. This period they're just a little bit out of sync, and I think check your tabulations here. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 5th penalty that they picked up in this period.
It's tough to get much of an offense going when you're in the penalty box
right.
Most of the period.
Again, and your players, they're not getting a regular shift out there by having to kill those penalties.
Jake Morris will face off against Tim Manning. And I don't know what the holdup is here.
Bobby Whitcomb's offside.
Oh, okay. Off the face-off, they bounce it in front, and it's cleared into the corner. Jamming for it comes right in front, and Strack took a whack at it as the buzzer sounds. And that'll take care of the second period. So the Raiders played even.
Played even, and just at the end, 2 nice Todd Collins coming up with 2 defensive gems right there in that shorthanded situation. The first one, he knocked the Massena player, Placid player down before he could get the shot off, and then just in the dying seconds, Placid threw it out in the slot. The player was standing out there, but Todd Collins was able to dive and deflect the puck out of the way, Jerry. So we are at the end of 2 periods of play, and the Massena Red Raiders up by a score of 4-1 at the end of 2, and the Raiders will still be down a man for 1 minute and 22 seconds starting the 3rd period. Shots that period, Massena with 6 shots, 8 shots on goal, and Lake Placid with 6 shots. 2-period total of saves. Lake Placid Stuart Spots with 20 saves, and Dougie Cullen with 10.
So after 2 periods of play, it's the Massena Red Raiders leading the Lake Placid Blue Bombers on a score of 4-1. Yes.
Excuse me, no, I was just going to pick up you. We'll get them after.
Our broadcast brought to you this evening by North Country Sports, 51 Main Street, downtown Massena. Also by Cheney Tire, 330 East Orvis Street in Massena. By the Seacom Federal Credit Union, 30 Stern Street. Massena Optics, 55 Main Street. By Paris Environmental Control Corporation, located on the Winthrop Road in Massena. By Massena Building Supply, 70 Water Street. Homestead Dairy, West Hatfield in the corner of North Main and Maple. By Netto's, 43 Andrew Street. J&S Sports in the Hearthaven Shopping Center. By the A-Plus Mini Market, downtown Massena. By North Country Savings Bank, 22 Phillip Street, Massena. By Pearl Vision in the Hearthaven Shopping Center, Massena. By Bogosian's Carpet and Furniture and BC Cleaning, 70 Willow Street, Massena. By Reynolds Metals, St. Lawrence Reduction Plant. Working together, their quality shines through. And by your friends at Evergreen Memorials, 112 Maple Street, Massena. 2 periods by the boards here tonight, and the Massena Red Raiders hold on to a 4-1 lead over the Lake Placid Blue Bombers on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. So Massena coming up with 1 goal in that period. Lake Placid came up with a goal. It was not a power play goal, but it was right after the power play had ended.
And that, as you mentioned, Jerry, that goal seemed to give the Bombers additional life. They became much more of a force offensively, and Dougie Cullen had to come up with some good saves. But he had no chance in that goal. There was a couple of assists in that. I questioned it. He kind of intercepted a clearing pass, but the officials were generous on that. And regardless, Tony Strack on the right side to the left of Dougie Cullen picked up the puck at about the top of the circle and took about 1 stride. And we saw Tony Strack last year. He's a right-handed shooter, tall and lanky youngster, and he's got a lot of good leverage, and he can really whip that puck. And he screamed one to the far corner, and Dougie Cullen, I'm not even sure if he saw it. It was in before you could blink his eyes, off the post, into the twine and back out again. That was at the 8:51 mark, and the Raiders at that time were up 4-0 because at the 39-second mark of the second period, Adam Morris picked up his second of the night and 6th of the year with assists from Brian Levac and Jason Labarge on a beautiful goal that you mentioned when you described it. Took a weird bounce off the dasher behind Stuart's spot to his right, and he left that little opening on the right-hand side, and Adam was right there, and he just backhanded that loose puck in the open corner.
So 2 periods by the boards, and the Massena Red Raiders holding on to a 4-1 lead, but I'm sure they're not in as comfortable a position as everybody thought they might be at this juncture of the game.
Again, they've got a territorial edge in play, there's no question. But you and I'm surprised that it's only 4-1. But those penalties, the Massena's picked up 8 penalties to 2 to Lake Placid, and you can't constantly. The coaching staff has to juggle their lineup as it is tonight. But when you're constantly killing penalties, every time you get a little bit of sync going, you have to go back into a penalty killing mode. That certainly disrupts your flow, and it's like anything else. You get out of sync, and you can do that long enough, and it gets to be a habit. So. That period definitely a little more cohesiveness by the Bombers and a little more offensive thrust by Lake Placid.
That's for sure. So it's 4-1 Massena. Massena scoring once, as did Lake Placid. And the Raiders hold on to a 3-goal advantage here. After this game, Massena is still on the road. The Raiders will be traveling over to the Dome in Ogdensburg for a tournament. Friday and Saturday night, the Massena Red Raiders will be playing. On Friday night, the Raiders play in the first game at 6 o'clock. And they'll be taking on the team from Oswego. And then following that game at 8 o'clock or a little after, it'll be Sacred Heart against Ogdensburg. Consolation will be Saturday at 1, the championship at 3 o'clock. And, of course, we'll have the Massena games, whichever one they're in on Saturday, and the Friday night game on WMSA. Something else we'd like to mention, the St. Lawrence Central tournament, they've had to move that to Salmon River because of they're still having problems with their compressor at St. Lawrence Central, the Tri-Town Community Center. So they're going to play at Salmon River at 6 o'clock on Friday night to Watertown against Norwood Norfolk. And then at 8:15, it will be Clifton Fine against St. Lawrence Central. Now, the consolation and championship will also be at Salmon River on Saturday at 11 in the morning for the consolation and 1 or 1:15 in the afternoon for the championship. So that's how it looks as far as the St. Lawrence Central tournament. Unfortunately, the Tri-Town ice is still not ready, so they couldn't play it there. Had to move it to Salmon River.
You mentioned Clifton Fine and Lonnie Avery. We talked about Lonnie last week. They notched their first NAC victory in their first game last week, and that had to be a nice feeling for all the folks up in Clifton Fine they've raised the money to run that club, Jerry, basically all on booster donations and bake sales, things like that. Well over $10,000. They've got a strong parent support up there in Clifton Fine, and they'd really like to see this have a good season. They're not expecting anything, I'm sure, out of the ordinary. They'd like to be competitive with teams in Division III and maybe surprise a Division II team now and then. But a big win in their first NAC, and I'm sure one they'll remember for a long time.
Of course, Clifton Fine, let me see, take a look at my schedule here. They are playing in that tournament this weekend. Are they playing tonight? No, they're not playing tonight. Salmon River, though, is playing Tougher Lake. In fact, that one should be almost over with. They started at 5:30. They had to get 2 games in at Saranac Lake, at the Saranac Lake Pavilion there. I'm not sure what they call that, the community center or something.
I think it's a community center, yeah.
Anyway, the second game featured Beekmantown and Saranac Lake. And also on the on the schedule tonight, St. Lawrence Central at Potsdam, Alex Bay at Watertown, Malone hosting Northeast Clinton, and Clifton Fine at OFA. Also earlier this afternoon, the Northwood Bees played at Seton Catholic.
You mentioned about the scheduling and taking a look at the Raiders' schedule. I think in the month of December, Jerry, it breaks down that they play a game every 3 days. January, it's a little better. That's their easy month. I think it goes about every 4.4 days they've got a game, and then in February it's back to just a little over 3. December and February, and that's not counting the sectional play. So February could even be a little busier than that.
Well, that's for sure. And looking at the Massena team, you got to figure they'll be in the thick of things come the end of the year.
I would be very, very surprised. I'm not much to go out on a limb. I'm very cautious, but I think this club is, barring unforeseen, they decide not to have the team anymore, I think they're going to be right there at the final whistle. It's a good club, and again, we don't want to put any added pressure on it, but they're good enough to handle that. This is this fine hockey club. And when Coach Stan Moore, who's been at this for a long time, comes out and says that it's the best club that he's ever had, that's a pretty positive, strong statement when he says that. So it gives you a little indication of what he feels about this team.
I would imagine after that second period, he has a few things to say in the locker room.
Oh, those are going to happen. Mark Morris was alluding to the game against RPI the other night. They just were out of sync, and you and I both thought that the Golden Knights would probably have an easier time, but RPI gave them all they could handle. Tonight, it's not that close. It's just that we're used to seeing Massena those first 2 games. Everything went well. Bingo. Tonight ran into a few penalty problems, a few adjustments, and sometimes it's just hard to get pumped up. They knew they were the dominant favorites coming into tonight's game. But on the other side of the coin, to give the Bombers credit, they're only skating 2 lines and spotting that third, so they're doing an excellent job.
I don't believe we've seen the third yet, have we?
I'm not sure. If we did, maybe once, but
okay.
A short shift, but maybe we did.
So the Zamboni making its final passes here. Will be ready to start the third period momentarily. The Massena Red Raiders are in control of the hockey game 4-1. They will, however, be killing off a penalty when they start the third period.
Getting back to the Zamboni, you and I, we always rate the Zamboni driver. How do you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 this young man driving the Coors decorated Zamboni out here?
Well, I think I got to give him an 8. He doesn't waste any time.
Oh yes, he's
got a big ice surface to cover here.
And as I'm looking down, I don't think he missed a spot. Oh yeah, one small spot over by the net to our left, Jerry. So I'm going to give him an 8.5. Yeah, excellent job.
Oh, no question about it. This is a nice facility here, this 32 rink in the Olympic Center. It's not the big rink. It's not where all the glory games were played, but nonetheless, this is not a bad facility at all. And certainly we're at a good vantage point. We're in the stands on the side opposite the benches. Which side would this be, David?
This is the south side.
Okay, we're on the south side, right at center line, right at the red line, and we're right above the ice. In fact, if I were to drop something right now, it would go down on the ice.
We can't. The penalty box is right below us. We cannot see into that. But a lovely vantage spot. And during the course of the game, they don't allow any fans on this side. They're all across on the other side. Not too many here tonight, but beautiful spot to view a hockey game. And this is since the renovations, this 32 rink. It really is. It's a nice rink.
Oh, it sure is. Sure is.
Of course, fond memories in this rink.
That's right. You've had a few teams that played a few games in this rink.
We sure have. Going back to Many. There's too numerous to mention, but I can remember Tommy Ford out here one night against Lake Placid stands out right off the bat, and our statistician is not with us tonight, Joey White. I can remember many fine nights that he's had out here, and Brian Groh one night in overtime scoring the winning goal against Lake Placid. That one stands out, and I still see. I think it was Dave Powers. Dave, we converted him into a goaltender. Making a big save, lying flat on his ice against, on the ice against, I think it was Barney Lantry, one of the big guns from St. Lawrence Central in one of the championship tournaments up here. The game was close at the time, and Barney had a wide open net, and Jake somehow put that big glove up there and just stoned him. But there are too many to go on and on, but a lot of fine memories up here.
Well, a lot of history in this building. A lot of history. Of course, they played, they call it the 32 rink because they played the 32 Olympics in here.
And Ray Pratt, an outstanding coach for many years here at Lake Placid, since gone on and is an official with the Olympic organization here in Lake Placid. I don't exactly know what his title is, but he was pretty instrumental in orchestrating a lot of the events that went on here during the last Olympics. Both teams back out on the ice. The Bombers will be defending the goal to our right, and Massena defending goal to our left, and Dougie Cullen just shaping up his crease right now. And Lake Placid players clustering around their goaltender Stuart spots. Both officials, Bobby Lozon and Lenny Landreau, ready to get to center ice, and we'll be underway. Here at start the third period, Massena will be killing a penalty for 1 minute 22 seconds. Captain Jason Labarge in the penalty box, and an elbowing penalty.
So elbowing the call against Labarge. I would imagine, Stan probably told the Red Raiders to, keep the penalties down, but to go out and continue playing the kind of hockey they're capable of.
Yeah, it's because they're out of sync. The penalties we talked before just takes you out of sync. So just seconds away from the start, it's Jake Morris out there along with Bobby Whitcup, Todd Collins, and Brian Levac on defense for the Raiders. And Dougie Cullen in net. We'll see who the Bombers are going to start.
I imagine you'll see the Strack line out there. Strack out there with Colby and Mike Strack. Yeah, that's what we have. And we've got Brad Preston and Benty. And off the face-off, the puck back in the Massena zone. Here comes Mike Strack with it to Tony Strack. He winds up. His shot goes to the side of the net, picked up by Collins. Todd Collins now starts out left side, and he moves it. Nobody picks him up, so he takes it to the blue line and backhands it all the way back in the Placid zone. Bobby Whitcup racing for it. He picks up the puck, flips it along the boards, stays with it. Whitcup feeding Jake Morris. Morris goes out to center ice. He gets knocked down. The puck comes free, and it comes to Collins. He got knocked down by Strack, and he in turn knocked Strack down as he was falling down. Massena just dumps it down the ice, and Stuart Spots has to make a save from the length of the ice. Brad Preston picking up the loose puck. Preston's headman pass goes on the wing to Matt Colby. Colby looking for Strack ahead to Mike Strack. He takes it into the Massena zone. Centering pass, and it goes by everybody. Jake Morris picks it up. We got another penalty, and it went up into the Lake Placid bench. And I think that's going to go against Lake Placid for high sticking. And I didn't see that. It happened behind the play.
I did, Jerry. A good call by Bobby Lozon, and Matt Colby, who is a little festy with that stick, was parked in front of the net. They threw the puck across, but Brian Levac, doing a great defensive job, doing what you're supposed to do, was there and tied him up. And Colby took exception to that and just laid the lumber on him. And Bobby Lozon right there on the play and didn't hesitate it. He had it right on Johnny on the spot, but that was a good call. And category of a real foolish penalty from the Lake Placid standpoint. Penalties like that will take the wind out of your sails.
That'll even things up here. Tony Strack stays out there. Massena making a change. The Chilton, two-thirds of the Chilton line comes out. Chilton and Bergeron. Puck in the Massena zone, whipped around the boards. Bergeron comes back for it. Long left wing pass. Now doesn't get out of the net. Here comes Preston. Preston circles back to the blue line, looking to center it. Goes in the corner. Tony Strack. Strack's pass knocked down. Puck stolen right in front. And it comes free, picked up by Chris Aldis, and he's going to start it out. Massena a little sloppy in their own end, but finally they clear it out to center ice. Here comes Preston. He loses it, then throws a check on Jason Labarge, who's out of the box. That means Massena's on the power play. They steal the puck, but it goes off a leg. back out to center ice. Levac with it, steps across the red line, dumps it. Massena has to get on sides. They do, as the puck comes in behind the net. Ryan Benty loses the puck. Chris Cameron shot. Oh, he missed wide. Bergeron looks to center it, but it's knocked down by Preston. Preston's going to dump it. Down the ice it goes. Cameron had an open net, and he just fired it wide. Puck stopped in behind the net now. And here comes Jason Labarge. Headman pass, Cameron. Perfect pass. Cameron trying to bust by the defense now. Stops. Takes it in the corner. Trying to slip it back to the blue line, but it goes out to center ice. Labarge picks it up there. 13 seconds left in the power play. Here's Cameron. Cameron flips it ahead. Chilton kicks it right on, and goaltender Spots is going to cover it up for the faceoff.
Little things department, Jerry, you mentioned Chris Cameron missing that one down at the end. But what created that was Jason Chilton, and we've talked about him, how he finishes his checks. And the big Ryan Benty, the big Lake Placid defenseman, saw Jason Chilton coming, and he just wanted to get rid of the puck to protect himself. He didn't want to get nailed, and he coughed it up right to Chris Cameron.
Jake Morris out there with his line mates, Adam Morris and Bobby Whitcup. Jake wins the draw, takes it high slot, can't get the shot off, drops it back to the point. Labarge, Levac, the penalty is up. Here's the shot, the save made. Rebound in behind the net. Morris. Now that's Whitcup. Now Morris again, Adam. Goes back to the point. Labarge flips it in front. Jake can't quite control it. Come out to center ice. Here's Levac to Labarge. Labarge flipping it ahead. It's just deflected into the Lake Placid zone. And it bounces up off a stick into the stands. And we'll have a face-off. 12:09 left in the third period on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard. Massena leads Lake Placid 4-1.
Cal Lewis does a nice job here at Lake Placid. This is his fourth year being the varsity coach here. Bombers coming off last year a 14-9-1 mark.
Yeah, they had a good year last year. Very good year off the face-off. Collins after it. Poke checks it to the Placid line. Now following it is Cameron. Cameron to Kellison. Kellison couldn't quite come up with it. Tim Manning back the other way. His headman pass goes by everybody. Back in the Massena zone. Todd Manning whips it around the boards for Eddie Davis. Davis starts it out, flipping it ahead. Doesn't make it out to center ice, but Davis is going to follow it. He takes it. Feeds Kellison. Kellison's got Cameron, tries to center it. Goes off a leg back out to center ice. And Lake Placid starts it back the other way. Here's Mike Beanie. He's ridden off the boards at the blue line. The puck goes in the corner, in behind the Massena net. Collins, headman to Kellison. Freddie starts it down on the right wing side, has it poke checked away by Matt Colby. Colby follows it in his own end. He picks it up, rides it around the boards. Manning keeps it in nicely, winds up. His shot knocked down in front. And the puck comes to Preston. Preston, headman pass. Hits Mike Strack on the wing. Here comes Strack looking to center, couldn't find it. He was looking for Tony Strack. The puck in the corner, Kellison picking up the loose puck and starts it out again. Here's Kellison from Massena, just bangs it into the Lake Placid zone. After this, Preston, Massena making changes here. Long headman pass goes by everybody. Was meant for Tony Strack, but I'll tell you what, Yvonne Cornwallet couldn't have caught up with that one, and face-off will move back in the Lake Placid zone and the icing call.
Well, Brad Preston did have the right idea. He was coming from strong side to weak side. There wasn't anybody here, and just a little more touch on it, and it might have been successful and sprung Tony Strack down that left side. I thought the way this thing started out, the way the Raiders were dancing around this Lake Placid defense, Jerry, that they, but again, that intensity, they haven't, with the penalties and so forth, they haven't been able to sustain that continuous pressure.
Face off right side in the Placid zone. Back to the point it goes. Labarge. Oops, he took it out. That was a close call, but right on the line was Lenny Landrio. He made the call, and that'll be an offside.
And here they're a little something different. At the lines, the two blue lines, the red line, they have the white paper underneath on either side, probably 3 feet, so you can distinguish, and the rest is a gray in the neutral zone in the offense and defensive zone. So it's easy to pick up if it's close on the line or not.
Off the face-off, puck back in the Massena zone. Brian Levac back with it. He starts out for the Raiders. Feeding Bergeron. His headman pass goes off a leg all the way down the ice, right on Spots. He's going to have to cover up. He had Chris Cameron cruising in, and he decided to hold on for the face-off.
And Stuart Spots, as initially right off the bat, that first goal he looked a little shaky on, and he also on one other. Since then, he's become much stronger, much more steady. I think and he's a veteran goaltender. They have to get a big game out of him for them to be competitive, especially when you're only skating 2 lines.
We've got Jake Morris out there with Bobby Whitcup. We've got Mike Hewlett going to the other wing. I don't know what's with Adam Morris. Off the faceoff comes back to Levac. Levac just dumps it in the corner. Around the boards it goes for Preston. Morris steps into the fray, but Preston goes by. Flips it out to center ice. Here comes Tony Strack. He gets upended. Nice check by Whitcup. And Whitcup flips it back out to center ice. Here comes Jake Morris racing for it. Can't quite catch up. Following on the play is Whitcup. He takes it in. He's got Morris with him. Flips it through to Jake. Jake to Hewlett. Hewlett couldn't get it on the right stick. Now the puck in the corner. Hewlett gets checked but stays with it. Puck bounces back to the blue line. Labarge just flips it right through the goal mouth. Whips around the boards. Here's Levac. Levac trying to flip it through. It's knocked down. It comes to Morris in front. His shot and the save made by Stuart Spots. Puck around the boards to the blue line. Kept in at the point by Hewlett. Now it's poke checked out to center ice. Bobby Whitcup, who has stepped back to play the defense for a moment, picks up the loose puck. Here's Whitcup's head man. Gets knocked down in the zone. Here's a chance for Manning. Shot. He fired it over the net. In behind the net it goes. What a chance there as Bobby Whitcup made a boo-boo. And now the puck pokes out to center ice. Manning had a great opportunity. Fired it over the net. Now back the other way. Here comes Chad Martin from the blue line. The save made. Puck in the corner. Massena almost got caught on a change here as the puck comes to Labarge. Labarge goes back the other way. Runs into some traffic. Stays with it. And moves it out along the boards and down the ice. That'll be an icing call on Massena.
Raiders catching a break, Jerry. As you mentioned, somehow Bobby Whitcup getting back in that defensive mode. Went to clear and not lackadaisical. He just, it was a good job by Tim Manning intercepting the pass at the blue line and stepped in behind both defensemen, walked in alone, and he had Dougie Cullen sitting back in his crease, and he did the right thing. He looked and he saw the goaltender sitting back, so he went upstairs and just fired it a little too high because he had that top corner.
Massena leads 4-1 on the Pete scoreboard. Face off right side the Massena zone. Chilton's line out there off the draw. Goes all the way back to the point, out to center ice. Here comes Bergeron trying to flip it through. Intercepted to the blue line. Bergeron gets upended, as does Chilton. And the puck comes bouncing to the Massena line. And across the blue line, here's Manning. Manning centering pass. It's knocked down. Goes into the corner. Todd Collins takes a whack at it. Back to the point. Kept in by Spots, the defensive Spots, but he has it taken away. Here comes Bergeron. Bergeron puts on a turn of speed. He finally has it taken away by Chad Martin. And Martin starts it out on the right side. Here's Martin. Oh, Bergeron checks him hard. Steals the puck. Trying to flip it through to Cameron, but it's bounced out to center ice. Todd Manning with it. Backhand pass goes to Todd Collins. Collins. Oh, he hit Cameron with it. Cameron's down on the ice. Ouch.
Todd Collins trying to clear the puck into the Lake Placid zone. Hit Chris Cameron. I'm not sure where he hit him with the puck. Chris is down on the ice, and
Chris tried to skate, and then he just fell down.
Yeah, Coach Tim Long is out there. Chris is in a lot of pain. I'm not sure if it got him on the ankle or where, but Todd Collins is trying to clear it into the Lake Placid zone, wanting to get a line change, and let's see where Coach Tim Long is going to, he's asking him where. It's down.
I think we're talking Charlie horse material here.
Yeah, in the back of the leg, it looks like. Yeah.
If that's all it is, that's good news.
Yeah, he's, I think the pain has subsided somewhat now because they're getting him up. Yep. And Todd Collins has got, he's being assisted by his teammates. Freddie Kellison is giving him a hand, and Coach Long, there's a load to handle there. Eddie Davis better take over, and there they go. But the Bombers, by far, this is, they came on in that second period, but here with 8:09 left in the third period, they played a good hockey.
Sure they have.
Hockey game this period, Jerry. They've taken the play to Massena. In fact, they look a little more in sync than Massena does right now.
Our broadcast brought to you tonight by the A-Plus Mini Market, downtown Massena, J&S Sports in the Hart Haven Shopping Center, by Netto's, 43 Andrew Street, Homestead Dairy, West Hatfield, and the corner of North Main and Maple in Massena. On the Peach Jewelers scoreboard, it's 4-1 Massena with 8:09 left in period number 3.
We have seen a lot of juggling out there by different line combinations by Coach Moore. I've never seen as many as this, and we mentioned some of those because of sickness and other injuries. You mentioned Adam Morris. I'm looking on the bench. I can't. I'm sure he's over there, but we haven't seen him out there in the last couple of shifts.
Not in this third period, or since early in the third period. Off the face-off, here comes Trevor Cameron to Freddie Kellison. Kellison to Cameron, deflected, score! Trevor Cameron makes it 5-1 for Massena.
He's got that Cameron touch around that net. He's tough. And again, Freddie Kellison doing yeoman work. The Raiders gained the zone. Trevor Cameron carried it across, gave it to Freddie Kellison, who took it down that right side and drew the Placid defenseman to him. And like a smart hockey player, Trevor Cameron went to the net, went to that slot area, and Freddie Kellison found him. And Trevor, quick shot. I'm not sure if the initial shot went in or he put it in on the rebound, but it happened so quickly that Stuart Spots didn't have a chance.
Trevor's had a couple of good chances in this game, and he managed to connect on that one. So Massena goes up 5-1 here. Here's Eddie Davis with it at his own blue line. A little bit of a problem, but it's cleared out to center ice. Let's see what the official. Trevor Cameron getting the goal. Kellison gets 1 assist. And Davis, puck in the Massena zone. Now back out to center ice. Here comes Freddie Kellison with it. He's ridden off the puck. Sorry about poking you there, Dave. And the puck picked up by Tony Strack. Headman pass goes to the Massena line, picked up by Todd Collins. He flips it ahead for Kellison. Kellison, rink-wide pass to Davis. In the zone it goes. Davis ridden off the play, but stays with it. Takes it side of the net. Backhander right on the rebound. Sits. Comes back to the point, and Collins can't keep it in. Circles, goes back, dumps it in the zone. We got a delay off sides. Massena clears the zone, and we're past the halfway mark of the period. Oh, Kellison just threw, or that's Trevor Cameron, who just threw a check. And the puck goes all the way down the ice. Icing will be the call. And Strack said, I touched it. I don't think he did.
Just what the doctor ordered, a shift like that by Freddie Kellison, Trevor Cameron, and Eddie Davis. They were really dominant out there. Not only picked up the goal, but had a good shift from beginning to end. And Massena, a little logy, needed that. I'm sure it's going to pick the rest of the team up. Excellent shift by that threesome.
Jake Morris line out there now, and Manning line. I would think Lake Placid has got to be getting a little tired by now. Back to the point. Here's Levac. His shot knocked down. Morris comes up with a puck. Takes it in the corner, right side of the goalie. Jake in behind now, looking to center. Nobody picks him up. He takes it out in front. Save, rebound. Another save. And the puck comes to Morris. And a big save there by Stuart Spots on Jake Morris. Now back the other way comes Manning. Oh, what a check thrown there by Levac. Oh, my goodness. Which way did the truck go? Back comes Massena. Drop pass. Bobby Whitcup back in the corner. Labarge in behind the net. Looks to circle. Centers it back to the point. Kept in by Whitcup. Whitcup stick handling it. Flips it. Jake Morris. Morris takes it out. And Massena has to regroup. Here comes Jake Morris circling. Back the other way. Morris takes it in the zone. Here comes Jake right by the defense. Shot. Save. Rebound. Cleared into the corner. Massena all of a sudden has come a little bit alive here. Back to the point. Out to center ice. Levac. Over on the other side. Mike Hewlett. Hewlett winds up. Flips the shot. It comes right down the middle. Knocked around. Sitting in the slot. And finally it's cleared out to center ice again. Brian Levac picking it up. Under 6 minutes to play. Levac circles by one. Flips it ahead to Whitcup. Breaking out of the zone. Bobby with it across the blue line. Whitcup races in. Takes it right across the middle. Can't get the shot off. And the puck into the corner. Whitcup in after it. He gets ridden into the boards. Gets back up again. But the puck gets away from him, picked up there by Mike Beanie. Beanie trying to feed it down the ice to Mike Strack. Strack gets by the Massena D. His shot, he fires it wide. Here's Bergeron, flipping it out to center ice to Whitcup. Bobby's still out there. The Lake Placid defenseman falls down. Bobby breaks in. Drop pass in front. Bergeron shot. And the save made. And Labarge goes into the net. And the net goes back over Tea Kettle. I almost said what I shouldn't have said there. Yeah. Over Tea Kettle, and anyway, we'll have a face-off.
And Ryan Bentley, boy, dodged the bullet there as far as not picking up a penalty. He reefed Jason Labarge from behind and knocked him right into the net and knocked it off its moorings. But the officials elected not to call that one. But again, a good shift out there. That goal has sparked the Raiders. Bobby Whitcup on 2 occasions. I think sometimes Bobby's looking to pass too much. He had the defense on 2 occasions backed right into Stuart Spott's doorstep, and he's got to use those guys as a screen. He's electing to, he should have triggered it on 2 occasions.
Off the face-off, the puck bounces back to the blue line, kept in by Smith. Smith is out there playing a point position for the first time tonight. Did a good job there. Chris Cameron's back. That's good news. Centers it, but it's cleared into the corner. Cameron cruising in the corner. Doesn't look like he's hurting too much now. Has it poked away. Smith does a good job to keep it in. Again goes to Cameron. Chris goes by the D. Takes it wide. The drive, and he fires it wide. Puck goes into the corner now. Smith pinches in again. Smith in behind the net now. It's ripped around the boards, and that'll be icing if it makes it far enough. It does, and the whistle blows. No? Somebody must have touched it. I didn't know there was anybody to touch it. Here comes Massena back the other way. Bergeron, his pass intercepted. Lake Placid with an opportunity here. They center it right in front, but Bergeron gets back and covers up for his mistake and starts back the other way. Here comes Chilton one-on-one. Takes by, can't get the shot off. Following up, it's fired just wide by Bergeron. He centers it, goes into the slot. The bouncing puck. Chilton can't come up with it. Here comes Tony Strack back the other way. Strack in on Smith. Smith just pushes him into the corner and does a good job to keep Strack wide. Massena breaks it back out to center ice, dumped back in the zone. And offsides will be called with 4:01 left to play. Kudos there to Kenny Smith, working on Strack, who's huge.
Excellent job by Kenny Smith. We mentioned Adam Morris. Chris Cameron was back out there, but the shift before, Adam Morris wasn't out there. And another thing, Matt Colby should become, if he ever becomes a doctor, he should become a surgeon because he's excellent with that stick. He's evaded about 5 or 6 penalties that I would have called against him. He's really hooking and poking, a little slashing in there.
Off the face-off, puck controlled. Eddie Davis goes to Manning. Manning bounce pass just a little bit too far. Comes back to the Massena line, back in the zone. Picked up by Todd Collins. Collins circles, looks for Manning. Manning starts it out. Todd's had a pretty good game, I think. Played very well. Here's Manning, centering pass, and Cameron, it's poked at the last minute. Now it comes to Kellison, deflected by Manning. Comes in behind. Picked up there by Chad Martin, and he dumps it down the ice. I think that's going to be right on. Yeah, it is. So Cullen has to make the stop and then flips it down to the Lake Placid blue line. Now Kellison steals the centering pass into the corner. Kellison, ridden into the board, stays with it. Cameron picks it up. That's Trevor. He gets knocked down. And Manning comes back. Trevor Cameron steals it. Short side shot. Rebound comes back to the point. Todd Collins over to the other point. Todd Manning winds up. Tries to get the shot off. It's blocked. And comes back. Here comes Tim Manning. Manning for Placid. Takes, nice move. Shot. Good save. Good save as Tim Manning made a great move. Beat the Massena defenseman. Now Kellison trying to clear the zone. He has a little bit of a problem with it. Comes to Todd Collins. Collins out to center ice. Preston has to wait for his wings. He just dumps it off the boards back into the zone. 5-1 Massena with about 2:40 left to play. There's Todd Manning. Good play. Flips it in behind the net for Todd Collins. Collins steps by one. Starts it back. Long headman pass. And I don't know if Hewlett touched it. Apparently he did. They waved the icing off. Now Whitcup throws a check, but doesn't come away with a puck as Brad Preston does. He flips it ahead on the wing. And it's out to center ice. Mike Strack. To Tony Strack. Strack. In the corner, he and Whitcup go together. Strack flips it to the middle. It's intercepted by Levac. Headman pass right on Jake Morris's stick. Here comes Morris, trying to split the D. Drops it to Labarge. The shot. Another nice save, and the rebound cleared out to center ice. And down the ice it goes. There's a whistle behind and high sticking call behind the play.
And again, they never get the first offense. It's always the second. There's no question. Mike Hewlett, Coach Moore's going to be upset with that. Mike Hewlett got raked by Tony Strack, and the official didn't see it. And Mike Hewlett turned around and retaliated with the lumber, and Bobby Lozon saw that one, and he's gone for a minute and a half. Bad call. The Raiders were just, again, starting to pick up their skating, getting in on top of this Lake Placid defense, which they were in the early going. They hadn't since then, and really tying them up. Now they've got to kill off a penalty, but only 2:01 left in the third period. Massena up 5-1.
So Hewlett gets the gate for high sticking. Out to kill the penalty, Jake Morris and Bobby Whitcup, Jason Labarge, and Brian Levac. Face off just inside the Massena zone. Off the draw, it comes to Labarge. In the corner, trying to move it around. He's got two guys on him. Still moves it, kicks it free. and it comes to Manning in behind. Manning looking to center it. Labarge, or Levac, I should say, gets a piece of it, whips it around the boards. Now Preston dumps it in behind the net. Here's Labarge throwing a check. Puck bouncing free, picked up by Matt Colby. Colby trying to drop it back to the point, goes out to center ice, and the Lake Placid will have to regroup. About a minute and a half left to play in the third period. Massena leads it on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard, 5-1. Ouch! Hard check thrown there by Preston as Labarge tries to cross the blue line, and the puck trickles in on goal, and Spots is going to cover up. So the Raiders are going to be 3-0 after tonight, but not quite as easy a win as the past two.
No, full marks to this Lake Placid team who 99% of the time skating two lines and jumped out. Massena jumped out early, 40 seconds, and we thought that was going to set the tone. And before you could blink, it was 3-0. But since then, the Bombers have come on. They've gotten stronger.
Off the face-off, still 45 seconds left in the man advantage for Lake Placid. Puck comes free in front of the net. Preston flips it to center ice. Collins is there. He dumps it right back in the zone. Bergeron racing in after it along with Preston. Bergeron, he gets there first, gets knocked down, trying to stay with it. Here comes Strack. Tony Strack now starts it out. Takes it in the Massena zone. In the corner, looking to set up the power play. Gets the give and go. Can't get the shot off, though. And coming in is Aldous. Aldous loses the puck to Colby. Colby looking to center. It bounces to the blue line and out to center ice. And we're down to about 35 seconds left to play in the third period. Back to the Massena line. Here's Aldous again. He's going to skate it across. Ooh, he just got upended by his opposite number 7, Preston. And back the other way comes Strack. He flips it to Manning. Manning's shot is blocked by Collins. And it comes to Aldous again, who flips it around the corner to Freddie Kellison. Kellison's going to lug it down the ice from Massena with about 13 seconds. Kellison's shot is deflected high over the glass. Aldous goes in. Kellison picks up the loose puck. Centering pass meant for Trevor Cameron with 3 seconds left. And that is going to take care of the hockey game right there. And so it ends with Massena on top, 5-1. And you mentioned Matt Colby and his stick work. Well, that time he got the worst of it, I think.
And right at the end, number 7, Brad Preston, really took a run at Sebastian Bergeron and nailed him from behind right at the end of the game. And Sebastian took exception to that and invited him over for Coke and donuts after, I'm sure. He said a nice word or two right at the end. The officials elected not to call anything. Good job by this Lake Placid club. Raiders coming in here flying high, coming off 2 big performances their first 2 games, and Placid club that primarily skated 2 lines and were down quick. Certainly got themselves righted and threw Massena off stride by slowing the game down as much as possible. And the Raiders not helping their cause by taking a lot of penalties. I don't know what we had here, Jerry. We were up 8-2 in these after the first 2 periods, and Massena picked up 2 more for a 3-period total of 10-3 for Lake Placid. So that's a good performance by Lake Placid. I know Coach Cal Lewis is going to be very happy. You're never happy with a loss, but his club really played well, and they reached down and found some extra legs in there, especially in this third period. A good third period.